What's going on, people? It is Super Bowl Sunday. Time of the year. Unfortunately, it's the end of the football
season.
It's
the best and worst day of the year.
It's the best and worst time of the year. You know, Mo knows this feeling because his team's never in it, so he's usually has this feeling.
I'm sorry. I can't say my team has the longest playoff drought. I got nothing.
But it's the Cowboys, Jeff. It's the Cowboys. It's the that. But as always, OG3 brought to you by OTBN. Off the Ball Network production. As always, I'm Chris. That's Jeff. That's Mo. Jeff, we just talked about something before. I want to say what's on your mind right now.
Here's what we were talking about. We were discussing like pre-show, which y'all missed pre-show. Like
pre-show might be.
If you want to either love or hate us, you need to tune in for them 15 minutes. But regardless, no, we were talking about. I was asking you guys which the Kobe statue went up this week, and so I was just kind of asking you guys what version of Kobe sticks in your mind is like when you think of Kobe. And we talked about how Kobe had two separate, basically Hall of Fame careers and how he evolved as a player. And we talked about how Jordan evolved as a player, and they were completely different players, from the beginning to end of the career. And I just asked the question, like, when is Jason Tatum going to do? We saw Giannis do this midstream. Like we saw him do it against the Nets a few years ago, change into a different player on the fly.
Yeah.
And won a championship because of like we all watched it. We watched that Nets series and was like, I remember everybody definitely in our network after the game was like, oh, Giannis something just clicked. And
now he's a superstar in my eyes that year.
He became
the time I said I would argue to the death that he wasn't a superstar. And then I said, but if he wins the championship
that night
in that playoff,
he did it. That playoff series. Yep. And I just said, like, as good as Tatum is, but we've talked about it many times. This guy, if you play NBA 2K and create a character, it's Jason Tatum. Like 6'7", 6'8". What is he? 6'7", 6'9"? Maybe 6'9".
He's 6'10". He's 6'10".
Oh, he's fast, lean, can jump out of the building, can shoot from anywhere. Like when is it? We thought it was last year. Like we were like, okay, it's going to click. He's going to take out Miami. He's going back to the finals, and he's going to win it. Everybody thought that, and Jimmy Butler's like, nah, no, we ain't doing this. And again, he doesn't become the next player. And still, even this year, man, crunch time. Look at the shot charts. It's just behind the arc against much lesser opponents. Like very, very few people in the league are on his level. So I was just asking, like, when is his game going to get better?
When he realizes he's 6'10", not 6'2".
Oh, yeah, I say that all the time. You hear me talking about Embiid. Like
that's
you are 7 foot 280. Like guys don't realize like their size, like take advantage. But it's a very perimeter oriented game, and that's how they're brought up. But sometimes it's like and Tatum has improved as far as posting up this year, so that is a good. He's getting the line more, but I agree.
He can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants on the court. He can be the best player.
Is it crazy though that I think Tatum and like part of it is because of like preseason expectations that I had for him.
I think he's MVP. He was my MVP.
He was my MVP pick as well. And I felt confident. And the reason why I said Tatum was going to win MVP is two reasons. First off, I thought like, okay, this year he's going to take that step. The Celtics got everything they need. He's going to take that step. He's going to be the superstar. Celtics might win a championship. He's going to be on a mission. That was one. Like Tatum's going to do what he needs. Then I was like, the NBA, the league, and the sports networks they need an American. They're trying to push an American.
Yeah.
Who was in line? It was Tatum. We didn't think like preseason. You didn't think Halliburton was going to become a superstar the way he is. You didn't think people would fall in love with Anthony Edwards the way he was. We knew basketball people would, but you're not really a superstar until you're the main topic of mainstream media, social media, whatever it is. Like that's
people who don't watch the game need to know who you are. We talked about this last week.
You need to be a recognizable.
And Tatum has everything. He's likable. He
his
appears
son too. He has a kid that
the appearances are that he's a
love.
Family man. Like he plays on one of the biggest brands on the planet. He's got everything, and it just won't snap. He won't.
He's dating LMA. Like he's dating a fine singer while he's like
he's everything.
So my question was too, like to the next question would be like we're all supposed to think that like he has to get it done this year, right? Like you start the conversation that's starting to narrate around Tatum gets loud. Because here's the thing. It got loud and I'm not saying he's on this level. Like, I'm not saying he's these guys. But when these top 5 to 7 players in the league hit year 7, 8, and 9, and they don't have a chip yet, he's entering his prime. For the next 5 to 7 years, he's about to play the best basketball of his life. At least he's supposed to. Yeah. He's not winning a championship. So now, like, I think it really gets loud because you went and choked. Last year, you were down 3-0, almost came back, but didn't get it done. And you lost to a team that, in most people's eyes, really felt like the Heat should have just been lucky to be there. Like,
Heat, they're a play-in team. You lost to a play-in team. Like
the Heat should be, like, people feel like the Heat should feel like y'all were lucky to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston gonna wipe the floor with y'all, as they should, because it's their time. Like, it's their time now. Yes. You got an aging superstar, as great as Jimmy can be in the playoffs, as great as he is in the playoffs. You got agent, like, everything was, we want the Celtics to win. We need a Tatum. We need a young guy that could carry the league, be the face, not necessarily face of the league, but win a championship and promote. Yeah. And he's come up short. If he doesn't do it this year, like, the conversation gets real loud about the Celtics and
going to be
right?
loud.
I mean, just look at it. Like, he's got everything physically that Luka has. I mean, he's not quite as thick, but I would say that
he's more physically gifted than Luka.
That's what I mean. He's actually a slightly more, like, physically, like, athletically. He's more athletic than Luka, but, like, Luka's out there just, like, being a baller. Luka knows, like, man, I might have to take 5 minutes and just play center. Jordan did that shit. Kobe did that. Like, I just keep, and this isn't like, this sounds like a knock on Tatum. It's not. Like, if that's who Tatum wants to be and he plays his career like this, great. You know what I mean? You can be Dame Lillard. Like, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to make all kinds of money and you're going to be fine. But, like, where's the, like, you see spurts of, like, oh, he's about to become a killer. And then come crunch time, he's chucking up threes. I'm like, what are you doing? Go in and, like, put it in some.
Jaylen Brown are the worst 2 players to watch in the
I can't. Jaylen Brown's a whole different conversation. He's the most fortunate basketball player I've ever seen in my life.
Those 2 in the last 3 minutes of a close game are the worst combo of 2 all-star players to have to watch in crunch time. They are. It's horrible.
Look, just to think of, we watch guys like Jimmy Butler. We watch guys like Jalen Brunson. Like, these are guys that are like, I'm going to take all the skill I got and I'm going to do whatever I can to get this done. And Tatum, like, these other guys are out there like super freaks and just don't, I don't know. That's all I was asking is, like, if it's,
I feel like you watch Tatum and there's more to be desired. I don't think
there you go.
Watch the Knicks and, like, even like last night, I watched some of the game last night. They lost, right? But, like, you watched it and you were like, bro, Jalen Brunson did everything he could.
It's a dog.
Maximizes his
you
skill.
don't walk away and be like it's the NBA too. You could lose to anybody on any given night. It's the regular, but you watch it.
You could forfeit a game. Then nobody even cares.
Yeah, Brunson has 40, and you're like, oh, he did everything he could. Like, okay, you lost on the Saturday night, but you never, like, man, I wish there was more that I saw.
Tatum and
walk away from guys like that. And Jimmy,
you know who Jason Tatum is? He's Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, in a way, a guy that we're expecting. You have all these gifts and all that, and we're expecting.
Except for, I mean, Tatum has been to the.
He has no, but I'm just saying, as far as talent wise, like, their talent,
as far as, like, you should be.
Their talent is like best player in the league.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, those type of guys. Josh Allen,
you want
to put there and all that.
I'd say Tatum
finals and 1 finals. He's played in 4 Eastern Conference and 1 finals.
That's a career.
I
would say Josh Allen.
A couple of years that he's been.
Josh Allen's a good comparison of, like, there ain't no reason Josh Allen should not be winning a Super Bowl.
Josh Allen may be a better comparison because Josh Allen's gotten to the NFC.
He gets it, and it's just like, I don't understand why you're not, like, better.
Why you're not the MVP already? Like I thought Tatum was going to win MVP a lot for what Mo said is, like, he's on the best team on paper, right?
And he just blends.
And they want to push that American, because American hasn't won the MVP.
Let's talk about this real quick
in a little bit.
Years.
Let's go. Top. Let's go. Not just best playing American born players. Who's the close? Like, what are our contenders for American superstar basketball player right now? We got Tatum, Edwards, obviously,
Halliburton.
Halliburton.
Can Halliburton be?
I think he's.
We have to see it in the playoffs
Indiana?
because he hasn't been to the playoffs yet.
Can he do it in Indiana?
I think so.
Yeah, because he's pretty popular. He was.
Reggie
he was
did.
the top.
Reggie did.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
that's
could do it.
fair.
I think it's a basketball town.
And because of social media and the fact, like,
He's a popular player.
And Halliburton's, he's a fair-skinned fellow like myself. Like, he's like,
I knew it was coming.
Different.
I know, but you're right.
Like, he's a fair-skinned fellow.
I think so prediction, who's it going to be? Because I think the actual answer, I think I'm saying as far as like we talked about it last week. I'm not even really saying who's going to be the best, but like out of the American choices, as far as like little kids wearing jerseys, I think it's Edwards.
I think it's Anthony Edwards, and I think he has his choice. He can do it in Minnesota and leave.
Yeah, I think my grandson will have an Edwards jersey before he'll have a Tatum jersey, is what I'm saying. Because I'm about to get to that point. My grandson going to be 2 next year. Like, I got some choices to start making. And so, like, we got to put him in the right jersey.
The only choice he doesn't have is like Ohio State. Other than that, he's got like choices of favorite.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying even player, though. When it comes to the NBA, like, you can root for whatever player you want.
American, I say like those 3. I don't think Tatum is really like I think he's a he's a star, and to say like he's not a superstar or whatever, like it's not disrespecting his game, but like I don't think people love Tatum the way we think.
No, they don't.
Like I don't think.
Well, he's not a charismatic personality. He's very like bland, and in order to be that, you have to have a person. That's why Anthony Edwards fits the mold. But I think there's something about Minnesota. It's something about being in Minnesota that I don't think he'll get there being in Minnesota.
But what if they go to like the conference finals this year? Like, what if you see them go to the I think like going into next year, like Anthony Edwards is the superstar if he's in the conference finals this year.
You know what? John Morant was close last year. We talked about
John Morant should have been that.
John Morant pissed us away. Like he was that dude. Like I would be buying a Morant jersey, but he's messed it up. And I hope it comes back. Like I'm not rooting against him, but I'm just saying like he messed it up. Like this dude was in Memphis and becoming talked about like outside of basketball circles. Like he was almost there, and then he went the other way.
If we're gonna go this, it should be Tatum, but I don't think Tatum is messed.
I don't think it's going to be.
I think the one guy that
I ain't buying him. I can't listen.
I can't buy a Celtics jersey.
My grandson
can't do it. That's another thing too. I think that's a real thing too.
Fair skin and light hair. I can't be putting him in the Celtics jersey.
Brand isn't. The Celtics brand isn't as popular like as the Lakers. Like if he was a Laker,
I don't know.
Tatum, I think Tatum would be the guy if he was a Laker. But that fact that he's in Boston, it's like I know they have all the championships.
Ooh, that's a good conversation.
It's not as marketable. Like you don't see
Boston
people
ain't what it was, is it? Boston ain't what it was.
It's not popping.
Miami's more popular.
It's not about Boston not popping. Because, like, if the Celtics were winning, they very well would be popping.
They have been winning.
They have been winning-ish.
They won to the finals. Oh, you mean winning?
But they've been competitive for a long time.
In the past 35 years, they've won one championship. They have 17.
Is that true?
Yes, we talked. They have since Larry.
08 before that, 08, they was like in the 80s or whatever.
It would have been 87, I think.
Since Larry Bird. In between there, they have one championship since Larry Bird's last chip. They got
I didn't realize that.
Past 35 years.
I mean, I knew that, but it's like when I hear it, I'm like,
fans are delusional because they think that their brand is, bro, people don't like y'all aren't winning. You're not as relevant as you think. Y'all are very good and you're still the Celtics, but like that,
they don't get talked about like the Lakers.
No, they don't. I think Miami's past the Celtics as far as like. If you're just throwing out brands that a casual person on the street thinks of with basketball, I think Miami's past the Celtics. I mean, we know the Knicks. The Knicks are the Knicks. Like that's fine. Like,
it's New York. Like New York.
They're one of the biggest brands in the world. I'm just saying, as far as like name recognition, like if you just start saying name basketball teams, I think that obviously the Lakers would be up there, but I think Miami is above the Celtics as far as like. Because they won a championship before, because
recently,
depends on the age of the person.
If you go to Bangladesh and take a survey, Miami is more popular. Than
because if you took it, like people my age, like you got to think about it. Anybody my age, we've seen Miami win 3, beat away. Like I've seen my team win 3 of them.
They just have more fun players.
Yeah, you've went through and had Dwayne Wade, and then you had and Dwayne Wade was charismatic. Then you go to LeBron. Then you take a little break, and you kind of limbo, and then Jimmy comes, and like you always have and Jimmy's not like charismatic, but he's turned into like you.
Oh, I think so.
You either love him or you hate him.
Yeah.
Like you love
I think
him.
that makes you charismatic.
Yeah. Okay, then, but I just feel like his personality isn't like
Tatum doesn't have that we hate him or we love him. He's just like, oh, he's a really good basketball
He's not
player.
polarizing. He's not
polarizing. And I think for a
hate.
Boston Celtic, and Jeff, growing up in that Lakers Celtics rivalry, Magic and Bird.
It still makes me. I'm still mad about it as you bring it up. How mad I am.
It's polarizing. Like because if you have LeBron and LA right now, and Tatum was like that hated guy, I think that would make for like a good rivalry. But Tatum's not polarizing like that. Like he has his kid with him all the time. Like it's hard to hate someone who has their kid.
Yeah, exactly. That's
looks
what I'm saying.
They're a good father. Like it's hard to do that and all that. But so he doesn't have that.
Well, and two though, here's another thing about now. It's harder because of the access that we have to players. You actually, like what you say, Chris, you're almost like, oh, I really can't. Like as much as I just
he plays for the Celtics,
right? And I despise the Boston Celtics growing up. And you know what? I didn't never heard him talk. I saw him play every now and then, but all I seen was them 5 white dudes on a t-shirt, and I was like, I hate every one of them. Like I knew everything about them. They might have been Larry Bird. Actually, seems like he was a cool dude, and I hated him. Like he don't really seem like he was that bad of a guy, but just because of like the time I grew up and it was like us versus them, I was like, I'm them. Like you ain't no, like you know me well enough to know as soon as like somebody did like the Celtics, I was like, And then here's the thing, I didn't know a thing about the Celtics. They might have been cool dudes, man. They might have been out here like, I have no idea. But you know what? Didn't matter. I seen them faces and I'm like, nope. You got that goofy ass haircut and them shorts. Like, no, we ain't doing this. Like I do like I can't. I just hated him. I still hate him. I hate Kevin McHale as a basketball player. Still to this day, as much as I can hate any basketball player. What's your guys' most hated basketball player all time that you just can't? We're talking about sports.
Easy.
People, calm down.
Paul Pierce.
Ooh,
Paul Pierce.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yep.
Somebody's still playing. Okay, that's your all time.
I've never it's Kawhi. I've never really. It's crazy because I just recently in the past like 7 years started being this I hate people. So like
Sports hate everybody again.
Sports hate. Yeah. Nah, I don't know, man. It might be personal. I mean, I don't
I'm saying like as
like nothing about Kawhi.
For Mo, it's extra. It's not just basketball. It's personal.
And people,
you would think Kawhi and Leonard like.
Oh, if we're doing extra, mine's Tom Brady. Like
kidnap his kids.
I'll push Tom Brady down a flight of stairs,
bro.
I speak.
I hate Kawhi, and I don't like. It's like I think I've let off of it a little bit now because I've
sounds like it.
My hate has been unhealthy. Like I shouldn't hate Kawhi this much, but I mean, for the past like 5 years, that last.
I didn't know this.
Oh, I hate Kawhi.
Yeah, he hates Kawhi.
I can't believe you don't, Jeff. Everybody know I hate Kawhi.
When I watch
Kawhi, I didn't know it was.
Every
like
time
that.
I see Kawhi drop 35, I'm like, oh, Mo's so mad right now. He's fisting his. He's like, that's Kawhi Leonard.
People will check a box score. Like I have homeboys who won't even watch the game. They'll just be like, hey, bro, did you see Kawhi drop 35? Yeah, I'd be like, oh,
you're mad.
When the Clippers lose in the second round this year again, like they always do, Mo is gonna be like, he's gonna celebrate like as if the Heat just won the championship.
You know what? I'm a little like that with and it's nothing like Mo's talking about, but like as far as an active athlete, as far as I'll just say root against for no reason other than I just want to be like, I told you. I'm a little like that with James Harden. I'm a little like or Dame Lillard right now. I'm like, I'm telling you, this guy's not a winning basketball player. And so I just want to be right. I got nothing against him or whatsoever. I just want to be so right that I'm like, I told you that Lillard ain't going to get it done. Like but it ain't nothing like what Mo's got going on there. Chris, who's your
why is he was protected too? Like they literally the part in
I think that's why Mo doesn't like him is because like the stuff that exactly with the LeBron. LeBron would get killed for the stuff he did.
A Heat fan, Kawhi got. I really feel the whole shutting down LeBron narrative in that finals, I think was BS. But either way, he gets protected because, like, okay, he wins Finals MVP, then he goes and he gets to do whatever he wants in San Antonio and still be considered a superstar.
Sits out, quits.
goes to the Raptors. Okay, he wins a championship. I think it was an overly glorified championship. I think it's one of the most overrated championships of recent memory, but you won a championship, so I'm not going to hate. Like, I just think the way they talk about how he carried the Toronto Raptors by himself, I don't think
real quick
about him like it was dark in Dallas. And I'm sorry.
I honestly forget. Who did Kawhi beat? I seriously forget.
They beat the Warriors.
They beat the Warriors.
Yeah, shit.
No,
they beat Durant and the Warriors. Oh, that was a good one.
Achilles, and then
KD was hurt.
Got hurt because of
totally
hurt. Clay ended up getting hurt in the game in Game 6 where they were winning and was about to beat the Raptors and go to Game 7.
But it's kind of
Danny Green hurt him. Danny Green went for the block and his knee just buckled when he.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember now. That's right. Took down that Warriors team that. Yeah, what you want to anyway? I don't get me started on them. KD, those KD Warriors teams were a joke. I'm sorry.
Well, they would have won a three-peat. That's easy.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, still though, like, who cares? Like, that didn't even. Those don't matter.
Like they
weak championships.
My guy is Paul Pierce and KG because
who is still active? Do you like kind of root against?
Root against? I
mean, it could be any sport.
I don't have a guy that I don't actively root against. I mean, but it's more of team oriented. Like no offense, when the Cowboys lose, it's just.
So you root against Dak? It's Dak then.
That's a rivalry, though. I mean, that's. But
I don't like ever since covering basketball 2000, like in 2020, like my rooting against players is kind of I don't do that.
Mine
anymore.
is less than it was, but it's
less. I don't root against players like that. I root against teams. Like I root against the Celtics and the Sixers and the Cowboys and the like.
Yeah, but whoever's on that team, you're sort of like you're kind of rooting.
But like I like Jason Tatum. Like I that's why I'm saying like Jason. I love Jason Tatum.
But he went to Duke.
He went to Duke.
But like why you like?
He's also just not a hateable player like that for me. Like
yeah, I kind of root against.
There's not really a guy that I don't root against. Like
I'm low key kind of rooting against right now.
It just clicked.
Jalen Hurts.
It just clicked in my head. Jason Tatum is literally supposed to be, it just clicked real quick. He's supposed to be the American superstar. He went to Duke and he plays for the Celtics. Yep. And he's a fair-skinned fellow.
Yeah, this guy's going to say
the ultimate.
He's so well-spoken, Mo.
And be a superstar. Like you went to Duke and you play for Boston and you're not that dark. Like that is like be the American push. Like that's
it really is.
Just click for a second. But
he should be the guy. He should be the guy.
I'm with Jeff. I am starting to hate Jalen Hurts, and I told my wife that. And I think it started when I found out she found him attractive. Like, and I hate him.
My wife. No.
I hate Jalen Hurts.
Like my wife is probably too old to leave me for Hurts. But she, you know what? But you guys don't know that. Y'all don't know this because you're not of age yet. But like when a woman hits a certain age, and then she refers to young men when they say they're so cute, you know exactly what they're saying because they can't say like. They can't say like what they want to say because he's 20 years younger. Gorgeous. But they'll be like, yeah, they can't be like, man, I like to ride that cowboy. They say stuff like, he's so cute.
I'm a lotto man. I like it.
And here's the thing. I like Jalen Hurts, but what made me mad was like he played rough, right? And then everybody's like, I don't know if he can be a quarterback. Then he had a great season last year, went to the Super Bowl, and everybody's like, see, we told everybody he could be good. And I'm like, what was I supposed to do when Hurts came out of college? Why on earth would I be like, oh, yeah, he's going to be great? And then this year he played below average. He's played all right. So it's like, as of right now, we're kind of right. Like he threw like shit this year. He couldn't make decisions. He wasn't great in the pocket. He did so many bad things to like make his team worse. I'm like, what are we supposed to say? It's like, no. Like, no. Like this might be who he is. Like everybody always assumes that like, whatever your highest point was, that's what you're meant. Like, no, that might have been it. Like, we don't know that he's not Carson Wentz or like Carson Palmer.
Like Hurts could be closer to like.
He could be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He could be. I think Hurts is closer to Cruz's prediction about Lamar. Like, what if I could see Hurts not being a starting quarterback in the next 2 years. But if he
might be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Like, if he don't bounce back, now you're like, that's 2 bad years in a row. He's only had 1 really great year. Like in 5 seasons, you're like 4 of them were average. Like at the best, like last year, at the best he was average. If he does it again next season, at the best he's average. The 2 years before that, he was just in 30 years. So you wanted to see improvement, but he still improved to become an average quarterback. And then had our year.
And take away those goal line touchdowns, his stats look different. He's not being shoved in like a like a bowling pin.
His
Take
stats
those
way
away.
different when he's not getting fourth and ones.
Everybody talks about the Super Bowl. I agree that he played good in the Super Bowl. He also fumbled away a touchdown. That counts. Like, I don't know why that does. Like, nobody counts that. Like, great Super Bowl. I'm like, yeah, but except he gave a touchdown to the other team. You know, big 7 points is. Ask the Kansas City Chiefs right now, tonight, as the Super Bowl's getting ready to be played. Hey, would you like to have 7 points before the game starts? They'd be like, hell yeah. Hurts gave him 7 points last year, and everybody's like, nah, don't matter. Like, great, because he's cute.
When you think about it, like, I think to me, I think his personality. I think he's. I think his character. I think he's full of. I think he's.
I told y'all in the chat room, if he'd have kept him dreads, wouldn't nobody be on his side. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, you say he went corporate? He went corporate.
Yeah, he got. I think he went in and asked for the Kelsey, right? That's what you asked for.
Yeah, that's what he asked for.
He ain't taking it. You ain't taking the bait.
Let me get the Kelsey.
Let me get that Kelsey. Hurts might have done that. Nah, I
like it that way.
That's been, and I don't because they haven't.
I want to be clear. I'm not taking anything away from a guy that's earned what Hurts has, and got the money and all that. I'm not even. This is not about, like, I don't think he's out there trying to be bad. I'm just saying simply, he might not be as good as you're telling me. He might be like, he just might be okay. And if he's just okay, then that whole team is what.
Is next year a prove it year for him? Like, he got to bounce back, right? Like,
he has to play
back year, right?
Because then people are going to get fired. People are going to get fired.
I tell you another guy on the clock. Like, Tua better be on the clock, because it's time to pay. Or
if Tua gets paid, though, then his clock kind of starts. He buys himself 2 years.
He gets another year. Yeah. He gets another year.
Can't pay him.
Like, if they pay him this summer, like, Tua has at least 2 to 3 years before he gets benched, because we just can't afford to put him on the bench.
The only quarterback, and again, this guy's taken, and it's hard to say this about almost a unanimous MVP. Lamar Jackson's taken all the heat. He's the only one of the paid quarterbacks that showed up this year. Burrow was hurt. Hurts didn't play great. Herbert didn't make the playoffs and was hurt. Like, all these guys that got, like, all these guys. Yeah, all these guys. Yeah, but Dak got his a couple years ago. But Dak played good. But he got the bag a couple years ago. I'm saying in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
All these Watson didn't even play a season. All these guys. But Lamar's the bad guy, because all he did was win the MVP and go to the AFC Championship game. You know why? We all know why. If he looked like Joe Burrow, we'd be like, you get him next year, Joey. You got it, buddy. Lamar, they're like, I don't know. What a fraud. I'm like, no, man, he got beat. Like, that's it. He was great all year, won the MVP, negotiated his own contract. I'm just telling you, he had the best 12 months of any athlete we've ever seen as far as on and off the field.
But
and they're like, I don't know. It would choke artists. I'm like, he's there. Like he was there.
Lamar does not. Here's my thing. And I think the championship conversation around sports has ruined sports. And I say more in football than basketball, only because basketball, I think, like, the superstars, the LeBrons, the Kobes, we've watched them control the fact of whether they can go win a championship. Like,
right.
It's 5 guys on the court. If one guy is just that much better than everybody, you have a fighting chance to win the championship, especially win that series. In football, Tom Brady comes along and wins 7. Then in the midst of that, here comes Patrick Mahomes. And so because of an era, we get a GOAT. We go from Brady, who was the greatest quarterback of all time and carries an era he didn't carry an era of football, but he was winning for 20 years. And then we don't even have time to just start watching everybody else try and win and get there. We literally go straight to Mahomes playing in his, 4th Super Bowl. In 6 years, he's in 4. And so now we see the success of 2 guys in 2 different eras, and we're like, Lamar has to win one. I tell you right now, if Lamar never won a championship, won one more MVP, guess what? He's first ballot Hall of Famer. 3 MVPs. The whole you have to win a championship in football to, like, validate your greatness. We only care about it at the quarterback and head coach position. Tell me how many star receivers won Super Bowls. You only name Jerry Rice, and then the next, like, 7 greatest wide receivers of all time might have not even played in a Super Bowl. Let alone
talk about nose. You ain't talking about no nose tackle.
Yeah, like, you don't care.
Like, nobody cares that Randy Moss doesn't have a Super Bowl.
Joe Thomas in Cleveland, greatest career of any offensive lineman ever. Nobody says, what a loser.
And
nobody says that. And that dude didn't win dick. That dude
They
didn't
just
go
say
to
he
the
protected
playoffs.
losers. He
Yeah,
just protected losers
right,
behind him. Like, I
right.
felt bad for
But
him.
Lamar, one of the best players we've ever seen. That's just the truth of it. Most talented players we've ever seen. They're like, I don't know. He's 25 now or 26 now or whatever. He must be a loser. Meanwhile, these other like Herbert ain't even sniffed it. Burrow's sitting on the bench. I don't care what he's hurt. Like when Lamar got hurt last year, it was like, he's always hurt. Can't pay him. Burrow, they're like, nah, that's fine, Joey. We'll see you next year, buddy.
And he's been hurt. Like
Burrow's missed 2 seasons with
I was gonna
injuries.
say
Nobody brings it up. Nobody brings it up.
He got hurt last year too, like last season too, didn't he?
Yeah. He's always digged up.
And then bounced back, and that's when the Bengals started making that run and playing absolute great football.
Yeah.
Back in
And here, the thing is, if Flowers scores 2 weeks ago, we might be having a different conversation right now. Like Lamar did everything. He was an inch away from being within 3 of the Chiefs. Now we're talking about a different game.
But Jeff, you do know, like now that he has 2 MVPs, he's now going to be. Now it's different. You can't just give him. People are going to be like, you can't give him that pass.
And that's fair. Like, I don't even mind not giving Lamar the pass. Everybody else gets it.
Yeah, but now like Lamar has to be in that. We got to be fair.
How many times have I criticize
the other quarterbacks? We have,
but
to,
not Burrow. No, not Burrow. Burrow, it's just like, you're going to get, you're going to win. It's just assumed. It's assumed because of the way Burrow acts and the way he looks that he's like, you're going to win 8. You know why? Because you remind us of Tom Brady, so we just giving you championships. That's exactly what's going on with Burrow.
Yeah, because we see him like you saw him win a national championship and
I'm not saying he won't.
So like,
I'm not saying he won't. And he did go to the Super Bowl on his back. Like I'm all full credit to Joe. But what I'm saying is like, it's just, there's nobody's like, oh man, he's hurt. Everybody's like, he's going to win 8 because he's the next Tom Brady. Why is he like, I don't know why. Like,
because we pick people, the media.
It's exactly. People get stamped and that's it. As soon as you get stamped, you're good.
Yeah.
Like it's already been stamped that Justin Herbert, like it don't matter what you do. Like nobody cares. You're out on the West Coast playing for a team that nobody cares about. Like nobody cares what Herbert does. Like nobody talks about it, nobody cares.
That's
Lamar
good
Jackson,
for him though. That's
Lamar
good
Jackson's
for him.
polarizing. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great he'd be like Phillip Rivers. He'd play out there for 15 years. Ain't nobody cares that Phillip Rivers didn't win championship.
I think they're about to care now because
now they will. Yeah, now they will.
Is the type of personality people either people are going to care what's going on with him or he's going to make sure you know what's going on with the Chargers. Like he's going to
they're going to be relevant. Yeah, they're going to be
now like you're going to care about the Chargers.
I hope they lose every game they ever play with. I like that.
Jesus Christ.
You started.
That runs deep, Jeff. All right, so we talked about that. Let's talk about a certain game that's going to happen today. Super Bowl. The Super Bowl.
Y'all got Jeff in a bad mood. I'm so angry. You brought up Harbaugh. You brought up the 80s Celtics.
80s. We don't like the
somebody bring up Rihanna. Settle me down. Let's talk about Rihanna for 20 minutes.
No, we're going to talk about Taylor and the over-under if she can get to the Super Bowl.
Hey, you know what? Here's the thing. This thing has gone so far one way that I am rooting for Taylor Swift.
I'm actually rooting for her. Like I hope she's on TV like the whole game.
I hope they just show
just
her
to see people get mad.
I want them to just show Taylor Swift in the box and then the game on a monitor in the background. That's how everybody has to watch it. That's how far the other way.
Widescreen Taylor and put the Super Bowl in like the little box in the corner.
Man, Taylor ain't done nothing. Here's the thing about Taylor. Taylor is such a corporate monster. Rock star. She knows everything she's doing every second of the day. I said the other day, like you think Taylor don't know what's up? Like they don't ever get a shot of her picking her nose or frowning. Like you never see her off her game.
Eating a cheeseburger with just all the juices is falling
She's a pro. She is a pro.
Yeah, she don't have those like embarrassing moments.
None. No, Taylor is.
Well, she just had one. She had a wardrobe malfunction. I saw.
But what happened? But that's fine. But sensibly, what did she have underneath? She had her shorts on.
Yeah.
When we go to Vegas, that's the one rule. All the women with us, I'm like, you wear the dresses and everything, but you got to wear your bloomers, what they call them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, everybody's looking. You're gonna have mishaps. You're gonna get drunk and fall down. I don't want your business out on the streets because I have once.
You don't need to be on Reddit the next day.
Bro, I was walking up the street in Vegas one morning. I'll never forget this. And this young lady was walking ahead of us, and she had like one of those real tight like mini dresses on.
Mm-hmm.
And because of her physique, it was riding up, right? And it got up like to her waist, and she didn't know. and she didn't have her bloomers on, and she just walking down the street, bare ass hanging out in front of everyone, and had no idea.
That's
And it's
embarrassing.
Vegas, so everybody's like, we don't care. But
Vegas.
Anyway, I'm saying like Taylor
It's
had her bloomers
Vegas.
on.
This
Good
is why
for Taylor
I need to go to
being.
Vegas. This is why I need to go to Vegas.
Yep,
just
wear
to
your matching
explore.
skin tone bloomers no matter what you do, ladies.
Hey, would the NFL? I want to ask this: since would the NFL have been wrong for saying like not having Usher perform and changing it and have Taylor Swift? Like, had they have done that, would they have been wrong?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a big.
Oh, is there?
yeah.
So okay.
How you guys feel about Usher? You guys like Usher? You're a little older. You're a little younger.
Usher's I grew up with Usher.
Usher's one of my dudes.
I love
yeah, Usher was.
I love Usher.
He was playing in the
Okay,
background
good.
a lot. Just to say that he was playing in the background a lot.
But like, so if they had made the NFL couldn't make the switch, right? Like because
You can't do that.
No.
No.
NFL thought about it. Listen, I know earlier
Internally, yeah.
You know
No,
why
I would say she was asked to help.
You know why they didn't do it, and you know why the NFL ultimately didn't do it. If it was Beyonce, and Beyonce was dating a football player, they would have made the switch. And I think Beyonce would be performing right now. Let's say Beyonce was dating Jalen Hurts and they were in the Super. I think here's why they didn't.
You can't switch the halftime show.
Listen to me, Jeff. No, I'm talking about way earlier. I ain't talking about if they would have did it like very, very recent. I'm talking about when the whole Taylor Swift became a thing early in the season and they made a switch. But I think here's why you couldn't put Taylor Swift on there. You couldn't switch out a black man for a white woman. You couldn't do it. Without being that would be the biggest uproar.
It would be an uproar.
Iconic black man out for a white. The NFL couldn't do that.
No, not just like the.
He's like a Mount Rushmore of
but-
like performers. Like there's Michael Jackson, there's him, there's Chris Brown. Like they're like iconic performers.
Yeah, I don't think
can't
that was
do that.
ever.
Maybe if it was a
though.
lesser name, but Usher is like he's goated. He's in that.
Shout out to our
goat
viewers who are listening out there. We appreciate you.
Oh yeah, that's my aunt. So hey, aunt, if you still listening, I don't know. But like, I was about to start flirting, but I think that's too. I can't. Yeah, man.
You got it bad.
Chill out. Like, hold on. Now.
I just said about to. I don't know. It's a nice. It's a lovely profile pic. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying hello to your aunt.
But either way, yeah. Back to the topic. Are we if like? Is Taylor? Has she bothered y'all? Like, does Taylor bother y'all this year? Because she doesn't bother me.
Care less.
I like Taylor Swift as a person. I have no idea what her music. Like her music's all.
She's on the TV for literally like a minute. If you want to do like the whole timeline, she's a minute of the whole game. There's Cialis commercials. There's Ozempic commercials. There's Viagra commercials. There's commercials that are 5 minutes long. 3 times we see car commercials that we see constantly. For her seat or for 45, I don't get why it bothers me.
You want to know something?
Ice-T is on my TV more than Taylor Swift during a football game. I see
something that
more than
something
Taylor Swift.
I don't like is like I don't really love the couple of Kelsey and Swift. Like it doesn't feel like I'm not like, man, that's awesome. You know what I mean?
Does
like
it feel forced? Like, does it feel like
it feels forced, honestly.
Like
it feels like a forced relationship.
Like, does it seem like a money grab relationship more than like a genuine?
I don't
like,
want to say that because it might be genuine, but
know.
it doesn't. I'll say it feels that way. I'm not saying
manufactured. Like it kind of feels manufactured. Like I'm
but
sure
again,
they like each other,
but you know what? That was cool as hell for her to go down on the field after that last. Like that's Taylor Swift. Like that's the most famous person in the world right now. Went on the field.
She's cool. She don't bother me. I don't know why people trip.
I actually think she might be. I can't. You know what? One thing I can't figure out. Maybe Auntie can help us out here. I don't know. Like what's with? No. I'm just saying. Like I don't wear lipstick. I don't know nothing about lipstick. But Taylor's choice to always wear the dark lipstick. My wife is like, Jeff, we get it. I'm like, why is she always wearing a really dark lipstick? Like that's her thing all the time. Like she never.
She's always wearing a heavy.
I'm just asking.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't go to Sephora, Jeff. I don't know.
I don't either. But my wife's always like, just let it go. That's her style. And I'm like, but I don't get it. Like you
Jeff
never
in the Super Bowl like that damn lipstick. Forget about the play that just happened. Kelsey just had a 45-yard touchdown, and Jeff's like,
talk
that
about
damn
it
lipstick.
all night. I'll be like, what's with the lip? What's with the lipstick?
Jeff needs to know about the lipstick, where she gets it from, why is it so dark? That's what bothers. But let's talk about the game because the game is it's kind of been an after. I know Jeff.
I got a Super Bowl show in 20 minutes.
But so we'll go. Obviously, we got Patrick Mahomes and what his legacy could potentially be if he wins this, what the Shanahan's legacy will be if he wins this, because we know, his previous as an OC and head coach and all that. So for you guys, what are the key factors for the Chiefs to get the W and for the 49ers to get the W? So Mo, go first. Give me the factors for both teams in order for them to hold that Lombardi trophy at the end of the night.
Well, the Chiefs is plain and simple. And people will probably say one way, I'm going the other way. Spagnuolo is the key to winning this game. It's all on Spags. Like you saw it in the Baltimore game. Like that's why they won. They only scored 17 points. Like we're not going to act like Chiefs put up 30 and won a game in the AFC Championship. They scored 17 points. Like Mahomes didn't play bad. I'm not saying it wasn't because of Mahomes. He played good. He made plays when needed to and extended drives long enough that if Baltimore didn't capitalize, which they didn't, you start running out of time and you start calling plays that you normally wouldn't call in the situation because you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I say it's Spagnuolo. Like if he calls a masterclass, the Chiefs will win, because I'm going to tell you, if you had Lamar that flustered and you had Harbaugh over there as a head coach that flustered, and I could only imagine what you're going – like if you're able to coach a masterclass, yes. I could only imagine what's going to happen with Brock Purdy if you show up as a play caller and your defense shows up and executes plays. So I think it's the Chiefs' defense, but more so Spagnuolo. Like he calls a masterclass, and then I think the Chiefs win. And on the 49ers – man, it's tough, bro, because they got so many different factors of like, man, Debo could have a huge game. Christian McCaffrey could have 200 yards rushing and receiving, and I could see them winning. Their defense could show up. If you told me Nick Bosa has 3 sacks in the Super Bowl or Fred Warner has 20 tackles, I wouldn't be surprised. Like they got so much. Man, I think it's really Shanahan showing up though. Like I think it's coaching. Like I think both factors is who wins the battle between Kyle Shanahan and Spagnuolo, and the winner of that battle wins the game. It's more about San Francisco's offense versus Kansas City's defense than I think it is vice versa, because Mahomes can slice and dice you if he needs to. We don't need to see Mahomes against a great defense. We've seen it a million times before. We know what it looks like. We want to see Purdy against a great defense, but you want to see how Shanahan responds to the masterclass that you expect Spags to put again, because you just saw it 2 weeks ago. So those are it's the Kyle Shanahan versus Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah, that's well put, Mo. I'll just piggyback on all that. To me, it's the middle of the field. Whoever's in the middle, like your linebackers, your safeties, both these teams want the middle of the field with their tight ends and with their running game. It's like, can you make tackles? Can you cover? Can you cover Kelsey? That's great. Fred Warner, like I can't say enough about. Like, here's the thing. I'm kind of pulling for Mahomes to win this game, just because I'm like, okay, I want to see this greatness. But I also like Fred Warner's my favorite player in the NFL.
I was going to say, Jeff, that's been your favorite player for
he's my dude. Like I think he's as good at his position as anybody's ever been as far as sideline to sideline. It's going to be a lot on him in Gamewell. The Chiefs run a ton of screen passes because of the inability at wide receiver. You got to get there and tackle. You got to get there. You got to fight through the blocks, and you got to tackle. You can't give up 6, 7, 8, 10-yard, screen plays. But it's like the middle of the field. Like shut down. Can Chiefs shut down Kittle? Like Mo said, can they confuse Purdy and get him throwing some mistakes over the middle of the field and maybe get an interception? San Francisco likes to own that thing with what they do. So it's just like it's kind of a good old fashioned. Like I told everybody all week, this is a great matchup. Like I keep hearing, like nobody cares about this. Like they act like these teams have played 8 times. Like no, this is a great matchup in the Super Bowl. You have great players on both sides of the ball. You have a good quarterback versus a legendary quarterback. You have linebackers. You have all these players. So it's like, what Mo said about the chess match. Okay, you put those pieces in place. What do they do? Rashee Rice has got to play a fantastic. The Chiefs win the Super Bowl. We're gonna be talking about Rice as the next superstar. Like that's how it's got to be. He's the dude. Scantling, can he come up with another couple big catches? Like it's all about that chess match. And Christian McCaffrey, can he own the interior of the field? Like if they have to focus on McCaffrey and he can keep getting those chunk yards, because McCaffrey runs so sneakily between the tackles. You know what I mean? Like I said it earlier this week.
Sneaky athletic.
Yeah, he is sneaky. He ain't even sneaky athletic. He just straight up. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, he's scrappy. Mo, he's real scrappy.
Yeah,
smart player
between the tackles.
Super intelligent player.
Smart.
High
But he
intangibles.
runs.
High intangibles.
He runs between the tackles in that zone scheme and is shifty. But he gets 6 or 7 yards. Like, he's a great goal line back, but he doesn't it's not because he puts his head down and runs through somebody. He goes around if he's free between the tackles in the middle of the field, then you got to start dedicating people. Now you're opening up the passing game, and you got Ayuk and those guys out there. So it's like, I mean, it's a lot of common sense stuff. It's like both these teams have the players to do what they want. Can the other team stop them? You know what I mean?
Is the running back position on Christian McCaffrey's head tonight?
Yes.
Because
that's it.
Because I think, to me, and I don't want to say he's revived how you think about running backs, because he's like one of one. There's probably 2 or 3 other guys that are close talent-wise to his level that you'd be like, okay, and maybe they're not getting used. Like, a guy I think would be on his level is Alvin Kamara, but Kamara don't get used. Barkley is I think you think of that group of guys, but CMC is the one here playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The difference between because of CMC and Saquon, those are the 2 best players on their offense. McCaffrey's the best player on his offense. Saquon's the best player on the Giants.
Well, we talked about it, Mo. You said
it. Very bad team. No offense, Chris, but the Giants were bad this year.
No offense taken.
The Super Bowl. Now, I know they have all the talent in the world, but the focus on the offense is Christian McCaffrey. If he plays bad and they don't win, the rest of the world, look, why would I pay a quarterback? If Christian McCaffrey couldn't play great, and we talked about he was offensive player of the year, could have won MVP. We're talking
That's
about
fair.
I can't win a championship. Why am I still investing in running backs? We already think that now, but you kind of if McCaffrey carried this second year, Mr. Irrelevant, and wins a Super Bowl, you value those great running backs that come in every 3 or 4 years. When Zeke and Derrick Henry come in, and then 3 years later, here comes Saquon, and then 3 years later, here comes another guy like whoever the Bijan Robinson. Every 3 years, you got that guy that makes a difference. You value him different if McCaffrey's able to win. That values Bijan, and whoever the next great running back is in 3 years that'll enter the draft that was great in college. You'll value him different because you'll be like, that guy won the championship.
But I think that's a great storyline, Mo. I mean, I think that there's a lot of truth to what you just said. Even if it's even on him if they win, he has to be good. Yeah. He has to be the reason they win, or just like you said, people like Jeff, who famously hates running backs, is going to be like, told you. If it's actually, you know what, Mo? It's actually worse. Listen, it's actually worse if they win and he's not a factor, because then you're like, like Mo said, what's the point in paying him? If you can win and it don't matter, if it's interchangeable.
It would be hard for me to fathom that they win this game and he was a non-factor. It's kind of hard to put.
I don't think so.
Especially with Purdy,
but
if he's a non-factor, I think they lose this game. If he's 35 yards and only has a couple catches for 15 yards, I don't think they win this football game. That's just my opinion, though. I think he has to be. I think he's a big reason why they if they do win, he's he would be a reason why they win this football game, because he's so dynamic and what he can do and all that. So, but that's just my opinion and all that. But I think some of the keys, for the Chiefs and all that, is to continue to pound the rock, because especially on the perimeter. And I was just reading this, earlier today. The Chiefs struggle. I mean, the 49ers struggle on the perimeter. Chase Young has not been, he's had flashes, but it's kind of been that his whole career and all that. And he's Chase Young
don't want to play football. He wants to.
Yeah, and he's kind of been.
He was that way at Ohio State too. I said it when he was there.
It seems like that's been that way. He gets washed up a lot, and the Chiefs have been physical on the perimeter, and then you have Pacheco and all that. They're gonna have to show that, and also Patrick Mahomes. I also read this too. That he eats up zone coverage. He's 70% passer in zone coverage, and the 49ers are top 5 and dropping back in zone and all that. So they're gonna have to, if the 49ers fix those things and they don't let McCaffrey get to the perimeter, and they're not getting chewed up in zone coverage, and Frank Warner, because he's a really good in coverage and all that. But it seemed like this year he hasn't been as good. If we see Mahomes slice and dice and they get attacking the perimeter with Pacheco, it could be a long day for the 49ers and all that. So those are things I think for the Chiefs, they have to continue to run like it did against Baltimore and it did against the Bills and all that. But for the 49ers, it seems like they've just made a lot of errors. Like they should have lost both games. They really should not even be here. And does that catch up to them? Those things catch up to them because they're playing a team that doesn't make those and has won Super Bowls and all, and they don't make those mistakes. That's why they're here. So can they avoid those mistakes that they can get away with the Green Bay, a young team and all that? That was only 9-8, a Lions team that hasn't been there ever, literally, So will they be able to survive those mistakes against a team that's been here and doesn't make? So that's the thing I'm looking at, and I think if they avoid those mistakes, then they can come away and have their 6th Lombardi. But does it catch up? Does those things finally catch up to them? And then Mahomes just eats them up, and this is a 2-possession game, going against the 49ers. So those are some things I'm looking.
It's going to come down. It's going to come down to mistakes. Everybody knows, like, we can analyze this to death and and pick it apart and scrutinize it. It's going to come down to a dumbass play by somebody, and that's it. It's going to be a mistake. There's going to be a player at the end of this game that feels terrible. And it's not going to be, he's not going to do anything. It's going to be just a mistake.
But can the 49ers survive? Like, we know Patrick Mahomes can, if they're down 2 touchdowns,
Mahomes can probably survive an extra mistake.
He can survive that, but can Purdy and the 49ers survive? If they're down 14, it might be like, oh, this might be over, even if it's early in the game, because the Chiefs ain't going to let up because they can run the ball and they can chew up that clock. So that's the thing, is avoiding those mistakes. And that's cliche because that's in any. But there's certain teams that can maybe avoid, that can survive.
Both these teams are good, though. Like most are really good.
This is like Jeff, like you said, this is a really good matchup. Like, this is a different matchup from when they played last time and all that. But this is a really good matchup, and like I said,
great game.
A lot of good storylines.
Potentially great game. I gotta get out of here. Shout out to my man AB. We're getting ready to do our 2nd annual Super Bowl trivia show here in like 10 minutes. So if you're listening to this or watching this, find that, check out Tacos and Touchdowns. I'll be on there. Me and AB is gonna have a lot of fun. Been real, gentlemen.
All right.
I enjoy our weekly conversations. Most of the pre-show stuff. Shout out to Mo's Aunt for watching. Shout out to Rihanna, Taylor Swift. Yeah, hey, wear your bloomers, ladies. That's the key. Wear your bloomers.
Hashtag wear your bloomers. That's gonna be the new thing.
Yeah, everybody don't need to know the secret. All right, ladies.
Yes, sir. All right, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's funny. Jeff, as always, OG3 and all. Jeff is funny.
Might have to kill Jeff. Then it sucks. I lose him, buddy.
Jeff is funny and all. But Bo, as we continue the Super Bowl, obviously, today and all that. Do you feel like this is a Super Bowl? Like, it doesn't. Is it for you? Do you feel that energy? I don't know. Just for me, I don't feel that energy, and it's not because of the storylines and all. I don't know. It just doesn't, for me. It doesn't feel Super Bowl.
No, and I think like I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I think Radio Row seemed kind of dead. Like, and I know all the stars were there. I get it, but like, people on their show,
different Radio Row.
It didn't seem like the atmosphere for all the guys hosting their shows on Radio Row. Like, yeah, everybody pull up, they walking by. Oh, you recording? Let me hop in there. Like, it was cool, but it just, it doesn't. Like, even my wife said it. I think she said it like Thursday or Friday, and she was like, I forgot the Super Bowl. She said it Friday. She went grocery shopping and thinking about like, oh, what are we doing for the Super Bowl? She's like, I kind of forgot. Like, she saw something that says something about the Super Bowl. She's like, I forgot. Because it doesn't seem like they're making it. You know why? Because the conversation isn't about football. It's about everything else. Like, it's about Taylor Swift. It's the conversation around these teams and what the Super Bowl has gotten so tiresome that, like, I think some people just like, man, just get to the game. Like I think
the antics aren't as important as they used to be. It's like, yo, can we just get to the game?
Yeah, like at this point now, it's like just
maybe for us. Is it for us, like people who are like hardcore, like are we not feeling the same as we did like 5-10 years ago, where we're like, we care about all like the leading up? Now it's like, I guess because we're getting older, we're like, yo, let's just get to 6 o'clock and
the same conversation for a week. Like, everybody talks about the same stuff, just puts their own little spin on it, but it's the same conversation every week.
It really is.
Literally, and it gets annoying.
It gets tiresome. It's like, all right, let's just get to Kelsey playing football. Like, I don't care about his his relationship. I don't care if Taylor Swift gets to the game on time from Tokyo. I don't care about Jason Kelsey. I don't care about anything else. Brock Purdy or who looks like Brock Purdy or like what is nonsense. Like I don't care. Let's get to the game. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see if the Chiefs continue to run the ball and they can they dice up this 49ers defense. I want to see if Brock Purdy can make that throw that Jimmy G couldn't make in the last Super Bowl. Those are things I care. I think we're at the point where like, I don't care about all the other stuff and all that. That's cool. And I'm sure it would be awesome to be there. Maybe one day we can actually, represent OTBN at the Super Bowl. That would be cool because I've seen a lot of dope, fellow.
Really do it, bro. I done seen some goofies up there doing shows. I'm sorry. I see some fellow.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you said it, and I'm with you, bro.
I see some fellow great guys, great podcasters that I've had on my show, been on it. They out there, but I've also seen some like doofuses. And if you take offense because you feel like you know me through Twitter and I'm talking about you, then I guess I am. Because it's not really specific. It's just like, man, I see some dudes that checked out their show and like y'all are doing shows on Radio Row and doing your come on, man. Like if y'all can do it, come on, dog. Like all we gotta do is show up then. Like we just need the plan to just be at the Super Bowl. And we just show up. If you letting these cats out here, I'm sorry. My voice will carry way more than some of these dudes. I'm sorry. Some of these opportunities, I be hating low key. Because some people be getting opportunities. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm not. Come on, man. Like I be hating low key. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. It gives you motivation. It gives us motivation and listen, we got some cool things in store. And as we end the show, we'll talk about one of our new.
I want to ask you about something real quick too. Sure. And it has it has something to do with the Super Bowl, but it's not the NFL. What the hell? See, the NBA. I don't think the NBA realizes who people really like watching on TV because you got the Celtics and Heat playing today. That's your primetime game leading up to the Super Bowl. Cool. I get the rivalry. I get that they've played in the playoffs, especially recently, 3 Eastern Conference Finals. I get that. But at the same time, everybody knows watching the Celtics and Heat on a Sunday afternoon in the regular season is not like leading up to the Super Bowl is probably not the game that you really want to see. Like,
why not? Is it not? What's the noon game or the 1 o'clock game?
Well, there was only supposed to be the Celtics Heat game, but then there's a makeup game with the Kings.
Oh, right.
Kings are making up a game. It was only supposed to be one game, but still, like Sunday leading up to the Super Bowl, like you don't think you want to put your star, like the stars are out. Like,
well, that game's at 2.
But that's why
I think they're thinking they want to get people, before the Super Bowl, but. I don't know. It's just
you don't put since the game's at 1 o'clock my time, but like, okay, leading up to the Super Bowl, like that, the way that Phoenix Golden State game was played yesterday, you don't think that would have been a perfect game to watch before the Super Bowl? Like that would have been perfect basketball to watch before the Super Bowl, that Phoenix and Golden State game last night. Like that would have been perfect daytime TV. And it would have the stars, Steph, KD, like Draymond, Clay and Bill and Booker. Like bro, I'm sorry. And I know the Heat are my team, but I understand, bro, people don't love watching the Heat. I think you would have been better off putting the Celtics versus the Knicks on a Sunday leading up to the Super Bowl. I think because you're not going to get, bro, people are not going to sit and watch the Celtics Heat the way you think. Like, I think if you had the Celtics and Knicks playing.
And Jimmy's questionable for the game too.
See, like it's Super Bowl Sunday. Like, I think if you had the Celtics versus the Knicks, I think it, at least ratings wise, it does numbers. Like, people care about the game. People care enough that your goal of getting ratings on a Super Bowl Sunday being the NBA would work. I don't think a lot of people really, I know it's before, so it's like, what else are you going to do? But like the Super Bowl is the type, if you're
prepping, no, you're still prepping, you're getting the table ready, you're getting the kids ready, you're just making sure everything is ready. So when people start filling in at like 5 o'clock ish, like everything is set. You're not really thinking, I need to watch this Celtics Heat game. I got stuff to do. I got to make sure the TV's straight. That no issues with the TV, with the cable or whatever.
Yeah.
Food's right. Everything's set up. So when the drinks are good, we got the liquor, everything's good. We got the cranberry juice, everything's straight. Cause the supermarkets are packed, so, oh man, we got to go to the liquor store quick, before the game start, we got to get buns. We got to get hot dog buns quick. You're doing your last preparations. You're not thinking about, man, I'm gonna sit down right now while there's a lot going on and watch a basketball game.
You're not really thinking about basketball, period. Like
No,
And I
no.
guess it was-
And what basketball heads, and I honestly, I didn't even know there was a game today, to be quite honest. I was so fixed on last night's game that I was like, there's no games today. I'm like, oh, right. The Celtics and the Heat played today.
And like, that's what I say. Like, and I would have said like the Celtics Lakers, but now I'm tired of you trying to sell me that rivalry. So I would have been like, don't sell it to me.
It only matters in the playoffs too, that rivalry. Like, because that's when we know the Heat put it on, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but if like, okay, so the Celtics and Heat are a rivalry, and they've faced and basically went to finals on the back of beating each other. So okay, I get it, but at the same time, like, bro, come on, man. We know like the Heat aren't must-see TV during the regular season. Like,
of course.
Let's just be honest here. Like, they're not must-see TV.
Who are the Heat rivals? Just off the top, I was just thinking about who do you consider the Heat rivals?
Man, the Celtics. I think the Knicks again now. Like, I think these past couple of years, I think between the regular season and then we played y'all in the playoffs last year, I think that kind of lit it up again. And now, like, the Knicks are on like this get back. We see the teams that beat us or could beat us last year, and like we're on like a revenge. We coming for y'all. So I think like if you got a Knicks, I think perfectly to really ignite that rivalry back, I think the Knicks Heat playing in the playoffs would be great. Like, I think that would be perfect. If the Knicks get the 2 seed and the Heat are the 7 seed, I think that would be a perfect first round matchup.
I don't want that.
Well, I mean,
I like our team now. I don't want to play. I don't want.
Give
me Orlando.
Orlando
round one.
The Heat. It's the Celtics.
Well, right now you guys would play. Like, if everything were to go as is right now,
I think
you guys have Boston in round one. That would be a fun first round.
Oh, no. I'm tired of watching Boston and Miami, bro. I really am.
That shit sells, man.
Like, either give me somebody else to play, and I'm not saying give me somebody else other than Miami, because when it comes to the playoffs and watching them, I don't care what you talking about.
It'd be some fun matchups in the Eastern Conference. Right now, Boston. It would be if everything stays as is. It's Boston versus you guys, Cleveland versus Orlando. Those are like two. That would be interesting. It's not.
I think that's a good game series.
That would be a fun series seeing Orlando how they would play. Because I wouldn't shock me if they would upset them.
I think that's good basketball.
Milwaukee versus Indiana. That's a rivalry with everything that went on with Giannis. We had 64 points, and they like there's a storyline there. And then Knicks Philly. I mean, that's a rivalry. Like the cities is a rivalry in itself. New York and Philly is like a rivalry. And then you add, that in the first round, that would be fun. So the Eastern Conference got some potential good matchups going on. And I think those are going to be the 8 teams in, because Chicago is 3.5 out from you guys. I mean, the play-in, anything can happen in the play-in, but I don't think anybody wants to see Chicago in the playoffs right now.
It'd be just like last year. Like Miami played Chicago in the play-in, and whatever.
It would be fun. But there's some good matchups in the Eastern Conference and all. Let's run through the West quick. I know we're going off the little top, but Minnesota versus Dallas would be the 1-8. Clippers versus New Orleans would be, which is New Orleans has been playing some solid basketball lately.
Bro, the Clippers beat them in 5.
No, I'm just saying, like the Pelicans have been playing solid basketball, but like the Clippers should beat them.
Clippers dogged them in the first round. Like, unfortunately, I hate that New Orleans has to play them in the first round because they're going to dog.
Denver would play Phoenix 3-6 matchup. And then the Thunder would play the Kings. I want to see the Clippers versus the Suns in round, because I want to see chaos from the jump. Because if the Clippers were to play the Suns, and one team's offseason is going to be really bad.
One of Kawhi and Paul George, or KD and Booker.
Paul George hasn't signed an extension yet. Kawhi did. In
that series, though, one of Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, and Russ, or KD, Bill, and Booker get knocked out in the first round. Knocked out in the first round.
I know, like, some people don't want to see that. I'd rather see that. No, let's get chaos from the jump, because one of these teams gonna have to win. And the other team's going to have to be like, oh, man, we just lost in the first round, and we were supposed to be, contenders, So it's like, shout out to Triple M, Knicks in 5, baby. Especially if Joel's out. The Knicks, I think if Joel's not playing, the Knicks should cook in that series.
If Joel's not playing,
they win that series.
5.
A gentleman's sweep.
5.
Yeah. Because Maxey might have a game where he goes off for 40.
I was just about to say, I think Maxey could get a game on top of, like, in that game, Buddy Hield hit a few threes. Like I think Philly has enough talent. Everything could go their way one game in a series, and it'd be at home.
It happens all the time too. Yeah.
Like they win in Philly, win a game, they're down 2-0, they win game 3 and then lose the next 2. Like I could see it going just like that. Knicks up 2-0, heading back to Philly. Philly wins game 3 and then loses 4 or 5 gracefully without Embiid, and Knicks go on, and the Sixers are just, they're like, oh, another year. If Embiid was healthy, God, we'd have a championship.
Yeah. I know we're going to talk about that. We're going to have a prediction for the Super Bowl. I know we went off a little top, but Embiid, how do we feel about, are you worried about Embiid going forward as far as, his health has been it's been an issue for his whole career because he missed the first 2.5 years of his career. Some people might forget that, like he didn't play for 2.5 years, so his first 2.5 years in the league.
I forget it was his first 2.5.
First 2.5 years,
yeah,
he had foot and all that. He had a bunch of injuries and all that.
He tried to come back and hurt something else in practice or something.
Yeah. And once you compromise and something else hurts, we've seen that with athletes, a bunch of guys and all that. But are you worried that we might never see like the Joel we saw this year that would look like he might have had the greatest scoring season ever? Because he was dominant. When he was playing, he was dominant. Like 37, he was averaging like 36, 12, whatever amount of rebound, and shooting like 90% from free throw, which is rare for a big man. We don't see big men shoot 90% from the free throw. Like that's a rarity. Playing great defense. And now, I don't know what Joel we're going to get when he comes back, because that knee, I mean, we've said it before. We said it plenty of times on shows. Like, it's just a matter of time before that knee is just going to explode and just be a wrap for him.
I think he's cooked, bro. And I don't mean this like, I think he's going to come back. And when he does come back, I think he's going to ball out. Like, I think when he is available and healthy, he's arguably the best player in the league. The problem that I see going forward, I don't know if Joel Embiid will ever play a full season.
Ever.
And I'm not talking about 82 games. I say full season. I say 70.
65. Let's just give him 65. Just give him 65.
I don't know if Embiid can play 65 games in a regular season and play in an extended playoffs to win a championship. I think for the rest of his career, it's going to be like, do you want the individual accolades? Do you want the awards? Because, like, bro, your body's not going to play 65, 70 games a year and go on and you're trying to win a championship. Like, once you make the playoffs, you're trying to win a championship. Your body can't play till June.
Most games he's played is 68 games.
Yeah, I'm concerned that Embiid may never play a full season ever again. And now you have to start to pick and choose. Do we want him in the regular season and put butts in the seats where we make most of our money, or do we try and preserve him as much as we can for the playoffs because we're trying to win the championship?
So how do you handle that? Because obviously we know the 65 game limit to win all these awards and all that, but he has his MVP though. That was the one he was chasing, right? He was chasing that last year.
But he losing. Like, the thing is
money though, and that's the thing with the 65 is now guys are going to lose money.
Like, I think 65 to win MVP is fair. Like, I think 65 to win MVP is fair.
I could agree with you with that. The other awards, no, I don't agree that because now we're gonna get random guys.
I think
we're gonna get max deals because guys are missing games and they're gonna get that spot.
I think all 65 games for all individual awards, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, maybe not Rookie of the Year. I don't know because it depends on how a rookie starts and finishes the season. So not Rookie of the Year, but those individual awards, 65.
The main ones, the big ones.
Part of winning, like part of the ability is availability.
Exactly.
But I think for all NBA, I think it should be like 55. I think 55 is a fair number for all NBA. If you didn't play 55 games, then did you really do enough to be first team all? Like 55, I think is solid.
Yeah, I'm with you with that.
Make all NBA, like 10 less games is not 80% of the, but 55 is enough sample size.
You can make an impact in 55 games, and
I know in 55 games whether you were all NBA.
Exactly.
If you're averaging 30 and like, okay, but you only played 55 and another guy played 65, but like, bro, you still averaged.
He was averaging like 19 and like 8, and like he's not really an all NBA player, but he's gonna get that spot because the first two guys didn't play enough games, and now you got to give him $200 million because that kicks in.
Yeah, I say 55. 55 for all NBA would be.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think that's reasonable. Like individual awards, part of ability is availability. All right, cool.
I'm with you with that because I forgot like there's like a certain number that no MVP has ever played this amount, like that many less games You know, so I'm with you with that because most people, if you play 50, even if there wasn't a rule, if we saw you play 55 games, it's going to be like, can you really be the MVP if you miss
it'd be hard to call you MVP if
25 games?
It'd be hard to call you MVP if you played 55 and the guy that's in second place played 73. Now you're like, I mean, bro, he played 73 games.
75. Like, yeah. He has similar numbers, a couple points less.
Like the best ability is availability. So I'm gonna
with you on that. I'm with you on that. I've come around with that because the 65 game rule kind of, but like, because I saw the way you explained it before is like, all right, 65 games, but like, all right, let's say he gets 64. Now that guy's gonna get bumped out for the guy who played 70, but he's only averaging 21 and 6.
Yeah, it should only hurt you for MVP.
And now that guy's an all NBA player because of the first guy missed, had one less game and all that. To me, that's where you kind of, and now I'm sure if you're a team, you're like, damn, man, he wasn't all NBA. Now he's triggered. Now he's gonna get the full max at 250. And he's not a $250 million player. He may be 180,
$60 million difference. Like because all NBA, like you go from making, I think now like probably a standard max contract be like 200, but like you make third team all NBA, you're now eligible for
you
get $70 million max, and then you're third team all NBA. Like just think about it, you might be I know like you might be
3 all NBA teams. There should be 2 all NBA teams because like there's all pro first team, all pro second team. There's no all pro third team in football. Yeah, like, baseball, the same thing. It's like there's no Gold Glove second tier or Silver Slugger second tier. There's just one.
And nobody
why cares about 3? I know there's less players, but like
nobody cares about all NBA. Like really, bro, nobody brags like about like
all NBA third team. Kobe would not be bragging that LeBron ain't bragging that he's all NBA third team. It's like, no, man, I should have been first.
Like hypothetically, if and I don't think I want to make this clear. I don't think he is. I think he's higher than that. But like if Jalen Brunson made third team all NBA, it's like, okay, cool. But like right now, you don't look at Jalen Brunson as like I think he's a star right now in the league, but legacy wise, he's not an all-time great. So like how many first team and second team all NBAs he has on his resume ain't like just the fact that he's an all NBA type player would be enough. Even though I think he's probably going to be second team this year. Right, he has an argument for first, but I
don't think he got Shea and
you got Shea and Luka, and that's kind of where he's
and Steph too. He might be second team with Steph.
Nah, he'll be second team with Hallie. It'd be him. If
Hallie, his games is going to matter too, Hallie, because he's
not
kind of close.
He's close though.
He's close though. He's getting close there, and you got Maxey too. Like so, I think he'll get second team.
Randall made second team All NBA 2 years ago, didn't he? Was he second or third?
He was second team.
He was second, and so like that was cool. Like he played good enough, and you feel like he got rewarded. If he would have made third team All NBA, like okay, cool. Like
cool. There's something about third team All NBA that like doesn't have the same sizzle as either be a first or second. I don't know.
Because think about outside of the third team All NBA. If let's say Anthony Davis isn't the center for third team, you go from Jokic to first team. Let's say Embiid second team. Then like your third team All NBA center is what probably Bam. Like Bam goes third. If you're not talking about drop off and name superstar.
Go Bam, go Bear.
Point guard position, you'd be fine because in those 3 All NBA teams, you'd have Luka, Shea, Steph, Jalen Brunson, Halliburton. Like everybody who would get on it would deserve to be there. So you'd be like, okay, you probably would say somebody got robbed by not making one of the 3 All NBA teams. Then you get to the wing spot and you're like, all right, it'll be like Tatum, Bron, KD, and then what? Like it's Tatum, Bron, KD. And I don't know, Kawhi. Now what?
Kawhi's in there, yeah. PG.
Now we're talking about Paul George is your third team All NBA. What other forward? I don't know. Like, I don't have a forward.
Let me just pop up names.
I said Tatum. Like, bro, Jalen Brown.
Paolo will be up there. Zion's gonna be up there. Zion's having a really good season. He's playing games too.
Bro, the forward position is low key weak now. When you're talking about All NBA, like when you're talking
all
about
NBA guys, yeah. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna pull up.
Like we talk about needing wing defenders and all that, and like you need a wing, but like at the same time, think about how like the superstar wing position is kind of scarce. It's not.
And they're older too. They're older. A lot of the elite wings,
and they're older, but like the wing spot isn't as deep as
All right,
everybody.
I'm gonna pull up the wings right now because I'm just curious now. Let's see. Pull up the wings. You got Tatum, LeBron, Kawhi. I mean, you want to put DeMar up there, but they suck.
See what we're talking about here? Like DeMar DeRozan could like Pascal Siakam.
It's more like the power forwards that are going to take up all those. There's no
But like
wings.
Pascal Siakam, all NBA. Come on, man.
Yeah, no. That's the thing that they're gonna. But that's the thing that you kind of worry about with the whole 65 game thing is that we might get like, Jared Allen. He might be an All NBA player, and he's having a solid season, but he's not. You don't think he's an All NBA player and all that, or like Miles Turner. Miles Turner could be all, those guys aren't all NBA type play. Like they're solid, they're good players and all that, but they're not like all NBA type players.
We're gonna change that rule again. I'm gonna tell you, the minute that random person gets,
they need that to happen.
The minute
it might happen this year,
all NBA. I'm gonna tell you,
Embiid's out. Embiid's out.
I'm gonna tell you who could change it. I'm gonna tell you who literally could change it. Pascal Siakam. I'm gonna tell you, if Pascal Siakam makes All NBA third team and then ask for $250 million
in a walk year,
they're changing that rule. I promise you, they'll lower the games played. Maybe I don't think they'll go to 55. I think they'll go from 65 to 60. They'll look at how many games did all these players play that would have made them eligible. And if 55 is the mark, because everybody that wasn't eligible played 56, 57, 58, they'll move it to 55 before they let like this be a normal thing that a guy like Pascal Siakam's getting paid $250 million because in a year of injuries, he made All NBA and now the Pacers got to pay him.
Yeah.
But you need somebody to do it. Like you need the random person to get it and you need somebody to get paid. Like you need a team to essentially get screwed by paying a borderline all-star player.
Do they still have center as a position in All NBA? Or is it still like
yeah. Yep, they
center,
have
right?
Yep.
Okay, so it would have been Embiid and Jokic. Well, Embiid would have been first team. Jokic would be second team, right? So now we bump up Jokic, right? Because he's going to be All NBA first team. Second team,
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis should get
Anthony
second
Davis.
team, but is he considered a center?
Yep.
Because he's still considered a power forward.
Nah,
but he plays center though.
Starting center and like
he's like Tim Duncan. Like Tim Duncan was always a center, but he just
for All NBA purposes to try and like because now if we have AD at second team, guess what we get to argue for third team? Bam or Cat? Nobody thinks Bam or Cat ain't
but
all.
Cat technically hasn't played center because it's goal. You don't have to put Gobert or Bam.
But you could see how Gobert wins third team All NBA at center though. Like you wouldn't be mad at that. He's done it before.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at it because it makes
put
sense.
AD at center just to weed out the fact that I might have to give it to Jarrett Allen or Miles Turner. Like, yeah, AD's a center.
But even Bam is kind of close to the threshold. Bam is a little bit close. He's played 42 games. He should get there, but it's close.
So even so still, Gobert would be cool. But if you're talking about Miles Turner and Jarrett Allen, like, bro, you're turning Miles Turner and Jarrett Allen into $250 million players.
And that's what we're talking about is that like, what if we get that to where, like
you'll get it. It's gonna happen.
Miles Turner could be an All NBA third teamer, and now that triggers.
The only argument I hate is the people that are saying we're going to get some random person winning MVP, which is why I say 65 because even – bro, we're not going to get – it's not going to be a random MVP.
Well, Jokic, right now it would be Jokic, right? Because Jokic or SGA would be the MVP.
Is it Jokic? Like, is he leading because of Embiid basically going to come out to be ineligible?
I don't think he would even want that MVP because they would be like, well, you only want it because of Embiid.
Yeah, but my thing is –
but I don't want that to turn that to that too. I don't want to be like, well – SGA only won MVP because Embiid, because there's like, no, bro, he was
that's conversation around MVP regardless. Like people feel like Embiid only won it because they didn't want to give Jokic 3 in a row, and Embiid.
No, you're right.
Before
that's gonna be a conversation no matter what. Yeah.
LeBron,
but now it's gonna be that even more now because now it's like, well, Embiid was definitely gonna win MVP, and because he doesn't have the game threshold, it's now going to be the second tier. They're going to look at the MVP as second tier because it's like, well, Embiid missed. Then
LeBron goes 10, wins 4, and then goes 10 years through probably the best 10 year of his stretch and doesn't win a single MVP.
That's ridiculous.
But I don't think people think we're gonna get a like I've heard people that's where they go with man. We're gonna random.
Everybody needs to get hurt at the same time and be out for the season. And then
if the 4 best players in the league right now, if Embiid, Jokic, I don't know. See, because then if Embiid, Jokic, SGA, Giannis, and Luka was hurt, then Giannis ends up your MVP. Like that's or Kevin Durant or Devin Booker or Jason Tatum. Like that's where MVP goes. If your 4 or 5 best players in the league don't make that 65 game threshold, like you're not getting a random. It'll be Giannis or Tatum or somebody like, so you're never gonna, I seriously doubt the 10 to 15 best players in the NBA
are gonna all miss.
Don't play 65 games to the point like Trae Young wins MVP and
Jalen Brunson wins MVP. Yeah. But a lot of bad things need to happen for that to happen, and then we have to investigate.
Brunson would realistically, like if the 5 best players right now, like the 5 MVP leaders right now got hurt, let's say Brunson did win it. I don't think that's a random person winning it. It's the point guard for the New York Knicks. That's perfect. Like that's a perfect. I don't think Brunson winning MVP would be. Oh yeah, see this rule is stupid. If you're telling me Jalen Brunson can win MVP, anybody like I don't think you won't get that. If he can win MVP, anybody can win MVP. You'll never get that for MVP. Like and if Brunson is that for you, then it'd be like yeah, the league's in good hands. Like if Brunson were to win MVP this year because everybody got hurt, and we're talking about like, Brunson's the MVP, then I'd be like, dang, if he's a guy who we couldn't see as an MVP, the league's in good hands. Like there's enough talent on the floor. If you're like Brunson should never be an MVP, then that's cool. I think he could, but you just sell. He's a point guard for the New York Knicks. That's it.
Hey, I want to run you LeBron James, like where all right. So he finished 9th his rookie year, 6th year 2, runner up in 06.
Who won that year?
05, 06.
Was that Dirk? Dirk won in 06, I think.
Right, that was the year they lost to the first round, right? That was the
MVP and lost to the Heat.
Then he won MVP. No, he won MVP the year they lost to the Warriors when they were the number 1 seed.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the year.
But the year he was he didn't win MVP. Who won MVP? I think Tim won MVP.
Tim or Bron.
So LeBron wins back-to-back, runner-up. So he's been runner-up twice already at this point. 3rd place, 4th place, 3rd place. So after he wins his last MVP with Miami, the back-to-back, 3rd, 4th, runner-up. The closest he was single place, almost won MVP in 19, but finished like a couple votes short. Runner-up it was 5th, and then 5th place, and then like wasn't on it. So he has like a lot of like top 3 finishes where like
some of those years in those top 3 finishes, those are the years where you're like, LeBron was the best player in the league, should have won MVP, but they gave it to somebody else because they didn't want to have the fatigue factor of giving LeBron 8 MVPs. The same thing with Jordan.
He's runner up in 13, 14. That's when Derrick Rose won the MVP that year, right?
Get me started on that. Do not get me started on Derrick Rose winning MVP over LeBron James.
That was like fatigue. Like
it was, and I know the Bulls were the 1 seed, but like, bro, the Heat were the 2 seed. Like, I don't know why everybody act like the Heat was the 8 seed that year. Oh, the Bulls were, the Heat were the 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, and they were only a couple games behind Chicago. Then they played Chicago, which I know MVP doesn't matter in the playoffs, but I'm just, bro, even when you look at the numbers, if I just took a blindfold, if I just didn't put a name and I put both of their numbers next to each other, you would have said LeBron had the better year. He averaged more points, more rebounds, more assists. He was more efficient. The only thing was he had already
got MVP votes as a rookie. LeBron.
Like he had already won MVP. So that was the whole okay. And that's where the Bulls were
back to back. He won back to back, and then
Bulls were in first place. So it was like that was the reason to give it to Derrick Rose. Don't get me wrong, Derrick Rose did play, like he played good. I'm not saying he didn't deserve to be MVP. I just don't think he deserved it over LeBron. But I don't have a problem with Rose being a league MVP. I just have a problem with him being MVP that year when another guy like was clearly better. Like LeBron was clearly the better player. His numbers said it. When you average more, if I average more points, rebounds, and assists than you, I'm a better offensive basketball player than you.
All right, let's look at the stats because this needs to be examined. All
Oh,
right,
Rose
so
averaged like 23 points.
Derrick Rose that season averaged
Rebounds
25 points, 4 rebounds, 7.7 assists, shot 44% from the field, 85% from 3, had a 13.1 win share. Well, LeBron didn't even finish second. He finished third. Dwight finished second that year. So Dwight's stats were 14 rebounds, 22 points. Dwight. LeBron finished third with 26, 7, and 7, a steal and a half a game, shot 51% from the field, 33% from 3, had a 15.6 win share. So he had the highest win share out of the MVP candidates.
Bro, I'm the best because I'm the better player. You win, like if I'm LeBron, you win more games because of me. Now, I didn't really. I thought LeBron was runner up that year. I didn't realize it was Dwight that was runner up.
I think that LeBron was
Dwight deserved to be 22 points and 14 rebounds. Man, you deserve some consideration.
I think that was the year people were actually mad that Dwight didn't win MVP because that year they went. Was that the finals year? No,
was Dwight still with Orlando? No, that wasn't the finals year. Like 2010.
Yeah. That was a. He won Defensive Player of the Year that year, and people thought he should have been both. That would have been a monster year too.
Like, to me, Rose averaged 25. I thought it was like 20.
And Rose played 81 games. Everybody played. Dwight played 78. LeBron played 79. Kobe played 82 that year.
There was no separation of like who played more games because one guy played 60 and the other played.
So you can't decipher that wasn't LeBron only played 68.
But it was the voters.
So you can't be like, it was just
one seed.
We don't want him to win.
We don't want LeBron to win. How do we justify it? Derrick Rose is playing great. He's been must-see TV all year. Everybody loves Derrick Rose, and the Bulls are the 1 seed. We can very well justify that the best. I think they had the best record in the league that year. If I'm not mistaken, they weren't just 1 seed. I think Chicago had the best record in the league. The only if they didn't, the Spurs had a better record.
2-20. They were definitely number 1 in the East.
If they didn't, the Spurs had a better record. I would say
overall the Spurs were 1 game better.
I knew it.
No, 1 game less. No. The Chicago Bulls had the best record in the NBA.
I was gonna say if they didn't, the only
Miami was 58-24. Orlando was 52-30.
Bro, those teams were really good that year. 62-20, 58-22, and 52-30. Like, that's not bad.
All 3, you could make a case that any one of those 3 could be the MVP. You definitely can make a case.
You could make the case, but my only problem with Derrick Rose winning it is I think it wasn't because they really felt like he was MVP. It was just we just didn't want LeBron to win. And I think you're saying that by putting Dwight at second. Like, you're not even putting LeBron as the runner-up. Like,
who just won it the year before.
And how is LeBron not the runner-up when, your case for Rose is he was the 1 seed. So, his team had the better record, so he should win.
That was 2 at least.
Dwight is the runner-up, but his team is behind him, so it doesn't even make sense how they did the math. I
think maybe because he was 22-14 and Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. I sometimes
he on the ballot, but the reason why you gave it to Rose, then Braun should be second because of that. Because if it's because of record, well, all 3 of these guys deserve it, so I'm gonna just put them in order based on record: Rose, Braun, Dwight. But you didn't do that, so it made no sense. You would have just been better off and been like, look, these 3 guys deserved it. The one we didn't want to win it was LeBron. So we flipped the coin to Derrick Rose and Dwight Howard. We didn't want LeBron to win it. We know he's the MVP every year. We knew Jordan was. We knew Kobe was. We don't want to do that, though. We don't want to give everybody the MVP every year.
That's a show we got to do. We got to do.
That's too simple.
Who really should have won MVP the year that player A won MVP? But
LeBron,
LeBron should have more than 4. Kobe should have at least 2 or 3. But Shaq too. That's a whole nother. So we'll do that one day. But before we sign off, it's who wins the big game? Who wins the Super Bowl, Mo?
Man, I'm going for the Chiefs. Simple fact, I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I'm a Mahomes fan, bro. And you latch on to the Chiefs the past few years. That's who I don't watch my team in the Super Bowl. So shoot, I don't get to see my Super Bowl team in the Super Bowl. So this dude, he's but I'm going the Chiefs. You want me to put a score on it?
Give me a score, yeah.
Kansas City 27, San Francisco 27-23 Kansas City.
Kind of high score and all that. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm not gonna bet against Mahomes. I'm gonna go with a little bit of a lower scoring game. I think 21-17. I'm gonna go 21-17. Yeah,
Like
4-point game and all that. Kind of like
that's down from each team.
yeah, it's going to be, I think, a close game. I think Mahomes just does enough. He dices the 49ers defense enough. And we talked about this, a matchup that's going to be underrated too is Chase Young versus Jawan Taylor, because Jawan Taylor tends to give up sacks. And if there's a game that Chase Young can get people to get off of him and have his game, we're like, oh, this is why he was taken with the second pick by Washington. This is why the 49ers traded for him, is to have this moment. This could be the game, because Jawan Taylor tends to give sacks, so that's going to be the matchup and all that. But I think Mahomes does enough to dice him up, and he take care of business, and he wins Super Bowl MVP. And now we can have, his legacy will just enhance, and we'll be talking about him maybe on Mount Rushmore if he's not already on there. So I'm gonna go 21-17 and all that. But that's another episode of the OG3 on the Off the Ball Network. I got one kind of breaking news, and if you didn't see on social media, we are now partnered with BetMGM. BetMGM, your number one spot for all your betting and all that. We're excited to be partnering with them. Shout out to everybody at the network that has made it happen by putting in the work and all that. So very excited. So we'll have more details as far as everything and all that. But we are partnering with BetMGM. So shout out to BetMGM for seeing what we've been doing and giving us an opportunity to be on their platform. So shout out to BetMGM and all the guys at OTBN put in the work and all that. But Mo, closing thoughts, anything on your mind that you want to get off your chest? I know you said a few things, but anything else you're going to get off your mind?
No, I've pretty much gotten it off now. Like I'm good.
Yeah, we hate that Derrick Rose won the MVP. We don't like that. But it also fit the narrative too, like the youngest MVP and all that. But
yeah, it puts Derrick Rose in the Hall of Fame too. So
he's gonna get in the Hall of Fame.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
He's not, but he's gonna get in. The NBA, you just have to have some type of accolade, and you're in. Anything of significance, you have an MVP. Good, you're in.
And because high school and college matters too. It's like your basketball career, like being a high school legend, being good at Memphis, being the youngest MVP ever, like Hall of Fame.
Even though Memphis technically doesn't even count because it's not even like it's evaporated because it's the NCAA violations and all that. But we all know what he did.
That. Yeah. You can't. The thing is, though, you can erase it out the history books. You can't erase a voter's memory when they're sitting there. You can't. When
it's like Louisville won the national championship in, I think, 13-14, and like technically it doesn't count because of the violations.
Yeah,
but we know who won the national championship that year.
Voters gonna sit in there and think about Derrick Rose's career, and even when they go to Memphis, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, but the violations." Man, so they're just gonna remember the basketball product. So yeah, he'll get.
He has a big enough name that they'll push him to get his. So
he is not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry.
That's for another show, though. And all that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We said it all on our mind. Nothing else on my mind. I just hope everybody enjoys the game today, and we'll have another OG3, for next week. But on that note, be well, be safe, take care, enjoy the game, guys.